All right, welcome to another edition of Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. We're live here at the beautiful Ice Den Chandler. We've got a little hockey going on behind us, as always here. We've got some stuff going on around us. We've got TVs, we've got the Coyotes game on. We're getting a little bit of everything, but tonight totally devoted to the ASU Women's Hockey team. We're talking ASU Women's Hockey for the entire hour. Got a great guest list tonight. We're going to have the star of the show, we'll call her, is Jordan NASH-BOULDEN. Joe Bo, the goalie, coming on for a couple of segments. Talk a little bit about the program and the way they are advancing up the ACHA women's ranks. And then we're going to visit with kind of a unique perspective. We've got the beat reporter from Arizona State University and the State Press, Mr. Andrew Bell, is going to sit down with us and talk a little bit about not only covering sports here at Arizona State University, but also covering the women's hockey team, which has some challenges here and there, but it also has some great advantages. So we'll be right back with our first guest, Andrew Bell.
The Ice Den Scottsdale has always been the coolest place in the desert. Now with the addition of the Ice Den Chandler, our 2 locations hosting 5 sheets of ice make the Ice Den your home for youth, travel, and adult hockey leagues. Our nationally recognized Learn to Skate programs offer world-class instruction for skaters of all ages. Our pro shop features equipment and apparel with the top hockey and figure skating brands. 18 Degrees Express with the Chili Bean Cafe make the Ice Den the perfect place to host your next birthday party or special event. Visit us online at coyotesice.com.
All right, and we're back. What a way to kick off Hockey Week, Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest, episode number 26. We're halfway through the year, talking ASU Women's Hockey. Why not bring on the goaltender, Jordan NASH-BOULDEN? Jordan, welcome back. And affectionately known as Jobo, right, everybody?
Yep, that's my nickname. I'm not sure when that happened, but it stuck, and I've embraced it. I love it. So.
Jordan, tell us a little bit about this past weekend. It was a big weekend for you girls. You had your Pink the Rink Day. You had a couple of big wins. So tell me about the weekend in general. How did it all go for you? How did it all play out?
It was interesting this week. We got to finally get to play a team with a similar roster size to us. We'd had a couple games against some pretty big teams as far as bench size, so it was a little bit easier on our legs, I guess. But it was exciting to come in after having a couple close games against Colorado. We knew that we were going to be able to keep up with this team, and we just had to go out there and play a good game. And I think our first game, we definitely we took a lead early, and then just kind of had some issues letting off the gas, but we figured that out and came back and had quite a win in overtime. That was pretty fun.
Right.
I think the last time that I was in a game that went to overtime and we won was my state championship senior year. So I'm not sure, but this one might be a little bit sweeter than that.
Right.
And
then it led into Saturday, which was an afternoon game, which has got to be fun, playing in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was nice to come back and have a normal game time rather than 10:30 p.m. Nobody comes to those games, but the crazy fans are out there. So we got a little bit more attendance out there, and it was for a good cause. So we had a lot of people wearing pink in the stands, and that's always fun to see. Last year that was one of our most packed games, and one of our only home games. But this year, comparatively, our schedule is a lot more at home. So that was fun, and to go out there and lock that one down and get the win. It was a little bit too close for comfort at the end there, but we have some great goal scorers. They pulled through for us.
And you guys get it done right in the last second. It's either overtime or with 16 ticks left on the clock or whatever it was. Always exciting, but a win is a win, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think in Friday night's game it was about 1 a.m. We started going overtime. It was about 12:45, and I just looked at everybody on the bench. I'm like, guys, I want to go home. Can we get this done? So we did. But.
So what's it like to start a game one day and finish it the next?
It's a little strange.
I bet.
Leaving the rink, you're like, yeah, see you tomorrow. But then, it's actually today.
Right.
We got about a 12 to 15 hour turnaround, so go home and get as much sleep as you can and rest up.
What's really neat, and the reason I wanted to do this week devoted to you girls, is the fact that the program has made so many big strides in such a short period of time, and I know Coach Ellis has got a lot more bigger things on the horizon with more players coming in next year, and you've been a part of both seasons. So did you see things developing that way from the very start, or was there a turning point where you started to see things really pick up steam?
I think there was definitely a turning point. It was, for me personally, I think it was that series that we went into Minnesota last year, our away games in Minnesota where we played them, we played Wisconsin.
Right.
Those were games where we really kept up with these teams that were, ranked way ahead of us, and we started to see some fight out of the girls. And even comparatively at that time, we had such a short bench. We had a couple major injuries that sidelined some girls, but even at the end of the season where you had, 10 people on the bench, maybe less, I'm not sure, but we started to see some real fight in the team, and then we picked up our 2 wins at home against Denver to close out the season, and I think that really shifted it for us because we knew that we had a lot of talent in that locker room, but just to kind of pick it up and see those results statistically, see that you're getting those wins and really put in that fight, and that carried through to this season because those girls that the ones that were here the first year, myself included, we were able to kind of inspire that drive in the new girls, but they came in with a lot of it as it was. So I think this year we definitely got off to a great start because we knew what we were capable of. We just had to kind of put our heads down and get to it.
And from looking from the outside in, when I looked at your team, I thought you were building slowly throughout the year, but I thought hosting the regionals is when you guys really look like a team to me.
Yeah.
You really felt like you were a part of something because you were hosts, right?
Right.
And even no matter what the outcome was, it was still the fact that you were selected as a host school.
Right.
And it really made you fit as part of the league and part of the ACHA, right?
Exactly. And to be able to, host the playoffs and to have a spot in the playoffs our
Right.
first year was something really awesome, and that was cool to be a part of.
Now, as you've seen things grow on campus, there's a lot more talk, isn't there, about women's hockey right now?
A little bit. We have one of the girls on our team that has quite a few friends come out and support
Right.
her, and they've seen me around campus. They're like, you're on downtown, right? And I'm like, I wouldn't think that anyone. It's a small campus, but I didn't think anyone would recognize who it was. But that was kind of cool. So we get a few more students this year than we did last year. People are starting to be way more aware of the program and what we're doing.
I'll tell you what'll get you a lot more awareness. Wear that mask around a couple times.
Thought about it. It's like you do kind of a show and tell.
Right.
Bree and I were joking. We went to Passport, which is sort of just it's to get your club sport out there and people can come and
Right.
look at information and stuff. And we were joking. We're like, next year we're coming out in full goalie gear and sitting in front of this booth, and we're gonna draw people in whether they like it or not. But
And we started earlier in this year. You and I talked about the opportunity for you to have a crosstown rival with Grand Canyon, and I think you guys tied them once, beat them once at this point, right? And you're going to get a chance to face them, I think, up in Colorado too. Is that what I saw in the
our last game
with them? But to me, it looks like you guys are the big sisters because you actually took it to them a little bit in that second game and showed them that it's not quite as easy, is it?
No, yeah, I think our first game, and especially with that being our first weekend, you definitely had some nerves and, just kind of first game jitters, but we really shook those off in the second game, and we have that offensive power, just getting those good scoring chances, and over the season we've definitely progressed in how we use those and how effective that attack is. And so I think, every time we play them, we're going to see a different team out of them, but they're probably also going to see a lot of development and a different team out of us. So.
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll talk a little bit about you and some of the statistics that you're starting to pile up already early in the year, and we'll give you a few pats on the back, and I promise we won't jinx you.
All right, I'm trying.
All right, we'll be right back with Jobo the goalie.
We need you. We need you. We need you to support Wildcat hockey.
The Wildcats are back in action, and it's time to show your U of A pride at the TCC Arena. Please call for tickets or come to the TCC box office. U of A hockey is affordable and fun for the entire family.
We need you. We need you.
We need you to support U of A Wildcat hockey.
All right, we're back with segment number 2 with Jobo the goalie. I'm just going to start calling you that just because everybody does.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I put down on Twitter.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much easier, right?
It's a little bit shorter.
Yeah. So, Jordan, tell me a little bit about some of these stats we're starting to see pile up. 3, 2, 1. I know you don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to make you.
All right.
First of all, tell me the number of shots we've faced so far.
All right, so I have about, by my count, 274. And,
How many saves?
259 saves.
Gives you a save percentage of about what?
945.
Very impressive. And the saves, I understand, are ranked up there number 1 in the ACHA. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, so far it's up there.
So as a goaltender, if you had your ways, what of those numbers was the most important to you?
I don't know. I mean, I think everybody makes a big deal out of save percentage and goals against average, but that doesn't really take into account anything about what kind of scoring chances you're facing.
Right.
You could have 270 shots from the blue line with no traffic in front of you, and it doesn't really mean quite as much. So I think for me personally, it's just it's saves for me.
Right.
Feeling good and standing in front of the puck, but also, just average shots a game. I think that was important for our team, and I know Coach emphasized that a little bit going into this year, was that number was pretty up there for me and Bree as well last year. So kind of a defensive key for us was trying to limit that.
A couple of things on that front. First of all, let's talk about your goaltending coach. Gibbers is a big help, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. She knows a lot about the game, and there's a difference between being a good player and being a good coach, and
right.
You don't necessarily always have the best, but she's got the best of both worlds, and she knows a heck of a lot, and it's just great to have her out there.
So a lot of people, if they haven't seen ASU women's hockey, they maybe don't realize that you're the only goalie right now because your tandem partner is injured, recovering from knee surgery.
Yep.
So what's your mindset every single day in practice? Knowing that, I've been to a couple practices and seen you on one end and a board on the other.
Yep.
So you're getting a lot of shots, probably more than you really need.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm seeing a lot more shots in practice than I am in games.
Right.
But I think other than making your legs a little bit tired, I think that actually might be a little bit of a help, because on nights where you see 30 or 40, as high of a number as that seems to someone who watches a lot of hockey for a goalie, it doesn't feel quite as taxing on the legs, I guess. So just kind of getting used to that. But my mindset hasn't really changed going into games. I tend to prepare the same way, although this year I think I've relaxed a little bit as far as my mentality towards practices. And there's a time when you go out there and you have fun and you just focus on stopping pucks and being with your teammates. But then when you get to the rink on game day, there's kind of that switch that you hit and you turn it on, and it's kind of different.
So I talked to Coach Ellis about having a short bench, and I said, is there anything you can really do on specialty teams? Can you put out a penalty kill? Can you put out a power play when you want or when you need to? And she said, first she started into it and she said, well, no, I can't. So as a goaltender, when you know that you might have some tired girls in front of you, what's your mindset? Let's start with the penalty kill. What's your mindset on the penalty kill when you know you might have some tired girls in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that this past game.
Yeah.
We had a 5-on-3 for about a solid minute. And
Right.
It was a tie game. So, obviously the momentum, kind of builds up for you in that situation. But I think it doesn't particularly change the way that I play. I know that, my focus is just stopping the puck. The next shot, every shot is, the next shot. But even though, it means a lot more in a situation like that, I think my teammates have a lot more trust in me if, they can see that I'm relaxed back there. You don't get too high or, too low on how the game is going.
So do you kind of play the penalty kill as it flows, or do you focus on maybe trying to glove the puck and freeze it whenever you can?
Yeah, that makes a big difference, especially if you have some tired legs out on the ice. You want to get a stop and play, or you want to, feed it to someone who can send it down the ice and give them a break. So ideally, you take that, but I think it's kind of in the back of my mind on something like that, especially where, you might be down 2 girls or, for a long period of time you have a penalty kill or something. It's really just trying to stop the puck.
And we've talked a little bit about, obviously stopping the puck is number one, but you've also had the opportunity to play the puck a little bit. Is that something you're thinking about when you're short numbers like you are? Sometimes it's nice if you can clear that puck out.
Yeah, I mean, we work on that a little bit in practice. We'll dump in and I'll set up the breakout. So, and I worked on that with my goalie coach a little bit this summer, just to feel more comfortable handling the puck.
Right.
Not necessarily in the way that someone like Mike Smith will come way out to go clear it himself, but
Or shoot to score.
Right, just to feel a little bit more comfortable with it and not to be afraid to handle it when you can. And I think that's made a big difference, especially we've seen it a couple times already that, putting in that time in practice really does make a difference. There were a couple times last weekend where it was a dump in, I handled it, gave it to my defenseman, and you just kind of pick up the pace on that breakout a little bit and keep them on their heels.
So conversely, we talk about the power play. Is there anything you like to do on the power play to help the girls get set up or do the breakout or anything like that, or is it pretty much my job is stop the puck?
Kind of the same thing. On power play, I'm just aware of the full ice and that, they're trying to ice it as well. So if I have a chance to get back there and stop it for them, I will. But, obviously it depends on pressure, it depends on the situation. But, you're kind of thinking about that as well when you're up at an advantage.
So let's talk a little bit about going forward now. You guys have a little bit of time to breathe a little bit here, a couple of weeks. Then you have what we were talking off camera. You got 4 games in 3 days, right, up in Colorado?
Yep.
And you're going to see some pretty good teams up there again.
Yeah, we will.
So what's your mindset going into that? What do you want to do? What's a realistic goal for ASU women's hockey coming out of that weekend?
Well, our goal for this season was, to win half of our games or better. So
right.
I think to go up there and really compete with these good teams, it would be great for us to split the series. I'm a competitor, so personally, I want to win every time I get on the ice. But, it's definitely going to play a factor, fatigue a little bit towards the end of the trip. So we'll see how that goes.
So that trip is over with. You come back, and then you got another big weekend. It's not pink this time; it's camouflage.
Right.
Looking forward to that game?
That's going to be fun. I'm excited for that. It's a cool new jersey. I don't know how that's going to look with all my equipment, but you can't really worry about that, I guess, until you put it on. So.
Well, I can tell you guys were standout in pink. It was fun to watch because you guys are so visible that I could see everything that was going on.
Yeah, sitting in the locker room, you're looking around, and it seems like it changes the color a little bit of the
right.
entire lighting in there. You're like, someone opened a box of pink highlighters in here. And
colored everybody up.
Right.
So you come back from that game, and then we start looking towards the Christmas break, and then finish it up. And I know you guys have goals again of getting into the tournament and making a run at a national tournament. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think so, and we have a lot of confidence right now. We're really rolling, and I think going into Colorado, I know we're taking a bus up there, so it's going to be a little bit of an opportunity for some extended team bonding.
Right, whether you want it or not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun, though, and everybody meshes really well this year, and it's something that carried over from last year. So I think just the bond between everyone is really tight right now, and that's definitely going to play a big role.
Well, we've talked a lot of positives, and I want to keep the positives going, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that we want to talk a little bit about one of the people that was very instrumental to your program last year that we're missing this year, Taylor Ullery. And I know you guys are all playing for Taylor every year, but give me some memories of Taylor just from that short time that you had him working with you guys off the ice last year.
Yeah, I've talked about this, but I think he was just about as much a part of the team as we were, and I know he was one of our biggest supporters. That you could always find him, even at those 10:30 p.m. late night games. No one comes to those,
right?
But he was always out there, and he was always cheering us on. And I remember there was one specific time that my parents were there. They come to all the games, but my parents were there late at night. I think it was one of the conference games. We probably started at about 10:30, and he was one of the only people there. And my mom came up to me after the game, and she initially thought that it was someone there that was for one of my teammates, like one of their friends, and she's like, there was this guy that was sitting in front of me and he was just yelling for you the whole time. And he's like, she just went on to describe him, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Taylor. But he was able to really kind of find that balance, I think, off ice between being a great coach for us. He knew a heck of a lot, and being able to be a good friend and form some good relationships with all of us. And we're gonna miss him a lot, but I think maybe that's a driving factor for us this year.
I was just gonna say that. You guys feel that? It looks like sometimes maybe the puck goes your way and somebody else is kind of looking out for you, type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of always in the back of my mind, and it's we know that so far the start we've had this year, he would have been extremely proud to see that out of us. So just kind of give us that extra gear when you might not have anything left. Keep
Absolutely.
playing for him.
Absolutely. Jordan, I appreciate your time. We're going to bring on the state press reporter that follows you guys around like a hawk. He's your beat reporter, so we'll bring Andrew Bell on next to follow things up. But thanks for spending some time as always. I know it's a long drive down here for you, and I appreciate you taking the time and talking to ASU Women's Hockey.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with the state press beat reporter for women's hockey, Mr. Andrew Bell. All right, we're back. Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. We're doing our third segment of the show. You've got somebody that might be familiar, maybe not. If you're hanging around the ASU campus, you've been around the Cronkite School, you've been around the State Press, you've been around the Oceanside Ice Arena. Andrew Bell is the beat reporter for ASU Women's Hockey this year. And a junior, right, Andrew?
Yes, junior at the Cronkite School, so enjoying my time there for sure.
Awesome. Well, let's start things off by talking a little bit about you. You're came over here into the program from San Jose, California, I'm told.
Yep, grew up in San Jose, California, born and raised. Grew up a huge Sharks fan. Love the game of hockey.
We'll forgive you for that.
Yeah, Pacific Division rivalry. I understand what territory I'm in, but Sharks aren't doing too well either right now. So, but grew up in San Jose. I loved it out there. Loved growing up a Sharks fan, and it was really fun to watch growing up with the junior Sharks programs that you have out there and a lot of the youth leagues. Seeing hockey develop out there, and then now kind of seeing that same transition out here in Arizona and in the Valley. So it's been pretty fun to watch, and I'm having a blast covering the women's team as well.
So let's talk about your role at ASU. Obviously, you're pursuing a degree in journalism, I take it, being in the Cronkite School, right?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm in the sports journalism program right now. Beat reporting with the State Press and with the women's hockey team. They've been such a fun team to cover, and we're off to a great start as well this season, so it's been a blast.
So when you were here last year, did you have an inkling of what the program was like last year at the startup point and stuff? I mean, you weren't on the scene every day like you are now, but did you have an idea of how they were doing and how they were growing?
So toward the end of last season, of course, I think with the men's program ascending to NC2A Division I, I had an idea of the men's program, but actually I'd never heard of the women's team until about my second semester last year, and I heard that we had a women's team, and I had a couple friends who had gone out to their games and talked about, how fun it was, how fun the games were, and what the program was like. So I kind of looked into that and saw some of the games that they were playing, heard they were a first-year program in the ACHA, and then sure enough, I interviewed with the State Press, and I said, I told them I'm a big hockey guy, and they told me I'd be covering the women's team this season. So, like I said, it's been a blast, and I think it's been great to see the program develop this season.
You know, what I tell people is from my perspective, I watched them last year, watched them go. I remember meeting Lindsay last year when she was just getting uniforms and all this stuff going on, and you could see that this was a program that she had a lot of passion for. It's grown, obviously, a lot. I told Jordan just now earlier that I thought the program really took its big jump when they hosted the regionals. It was kind of a deal where nobody else wanted to host them, and they were able to grab it, and they did, and thanks to Oceanside and a bunch of supporters, they were able to have it here, which meant that they got an opportunity to play as the whole school. So I think that was where they grew, and then coming in this year, I'm guessing it was just kind of like they took off running, right? Everything is, all the stuff that you have with the first year program is now in the past, and now you have a history, and now you have something to look forward to in the future. So that being said, what's the future look like for them from your perspective?
The future is bright in Tempe and at Oceanside Arena with the women's team. Just talking to Coach Ellis and the coaching staff that they have right now, they brought in Katie McGovern. Who,
right.
If you ever look at her college highlights, she was quite a player at the University of Minnesota Duluth. So, and then Kaylee Marino, who's worked with Jordan, and Jordan's been fantastic this season, best goalie in the ACHA so far. So the future is bright with them. I know they've already have 3 recruits coming in for next season.
Yep.
2 of them local products here in Arizona who actually play for the Arizona Lady Coyotes. So they already have 3 prospects coming in, and they're looking to gain more. And right now, even with the limited amount of players that they do have, they're competing at a high level against very tough programs. For example, Colorado last weekend was one of the top 10 schools in the entire ACHA. They really play competitive hockey with them and stuck with them through 3 periods. I know Jordan probably touched on it, her high volume of shots. It's amazing how far a goalie can take you, but she kept them in that game, and when they needed goals at big moments, they came up with them. So it's been fun to see this team progress, not only from last season but where they are now.
So let's backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit more about the State Press and the great job that you guys do providing a lot of coverage for Arizona State athletics. I mean, you guys are there across the board, right? So tell me a little bit about what that's like. Is it a real world environment? That's what they're trying to throw out there for you?
Oh, absolutely. It's such a professional organization and publication. Kendall Valenzuela, Chris Wood, our sports editors, they do a great job. And everywhere across the board, whether it's women's hockey, men's hockey, football, basketball, you name it, they have a great group of writers there this year and really every year, just covering sports and covering ASU athletics. And it's just such a professional environment and a great place to work for.
And it's nice when you're working at one of the biggest, or if not the biggest universities in the world right now with ASU. So there's a lot of exposure going on in your college career, right?
Oh, definitely. The Cronkite School there's so many opportunities, and it's such an amazing place to grow and just get better at your craft as a journalist. Not only in sports, but anything you want to cover, whether it's news, broadcast, anything like that. So, such a great school, one of the best in the country, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, I know you're here for a year and a half or so now, maybe a little more than a year and a half to finish up, but what's on your sights for the future? What do you want to do when you leave the Cronkite School?
Sights for the future, obviously it's a tough field to get into. There's a lot of great writers and a lot of great people. Just find a job somewhere, whether it's with video, producing, writing, broadcast, wherever it is. I'm trying to become well acquainted with everything in the field of journalism and just grow off of that. But as for my hockey coverage this season, I really would love to cover beat writing for an NHL team one day or somewhere down the line. Hockey is one of my favorite sports to cover and some of the best players to cover as well.
Well, we keep accumulating teams. We've got one up in Vegas now, so maybe in another year and a half we'll have one somewhere else out here in the West. But if nothing else, the NCAA 2A program is building real quick. So I know there's people talking out in Oakland now about possibly having a team coming in there, and UNLV's talking about it. So I think hockey is going to be a market that will open up. So your experience you're getting here is going to be very helpful.
Definitely. Like I said, it's just been such a blast here and covering the women's team this season. Obviously, they're off to a great start, but they've just been such a fun team to cover and to be around the rink every morning. It's great.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with Andrew and we'll talk a little bit about some of his interactions that he's had with the women's team, and maybe you can give us a few secrets about some of the interviews you get, who's the best, who isn't, right?
Well, I don't know if I want to release that information, but just a fun team to cover, so yeah.
All right, we'll be right back with Andrew Bell from the State Press here at Arizona State University.
In today's odor elimination, sanitizing, and deodorizing market, airspaces and fabrics are treated with very aggressive, highly toxic, and often very dangerous but cheap chemical-based solutions. These chemicals have harmful residues and pollutants that can impact your health and the well-being of those around you. This is the bad news. The good news is there's something better. That something is OxyPal. OxyPal is a fast-growing company based in Phoenix, Arizona, with franchises opening across North America. OxyPal has developed a way to eliminate, not mask or disguise, all organic-based odors in any airspace or on any fabric surface with ozone, also called trioxygen. Ozone is present in the atmosphere, and it is what protects our planet, our environment, and every living thing on Earth. Through years of research and development, OxyPal has perfected a way to harness and apply this powerful solution to purify airspaces and fabric surfaces safely and effectively, eliminating all organic bacteria, viruses, mold, fungi, and allergens on the molecular level. OxyPal has designed and perfected many next-generation and evolutionary alternative products and services safe for people, pets, and our planet. The solutions offered by OxyPal are stronger, safer, non-toxic, and a great value. Visit our website and online store today at www.oxypal.com. On our website, you can make a service appointment, buy products, or learn more about us and our great franchising opportunities.
All right, we're back with another segment on Hockey Talk here in the Desert Southwest. My guest is still here, Andrew Bell with the State Press at Arizona State University, and more importantly, the beat reporter for the women's ASU hockey team. Andrew, let's talk a little bit about what it's been like since the start of the year. We're 3-2-1 for record for them right now. You've had a chance to see some wins, you've had a chance to see some losses. Give me a little a gut feel for the team and what it's like to be there every day that they're on the ice.
As I've said before, it's a blast covering the team, but they've really progressed this season. I know compared from last year, already having more wins than they had last year, and I think that's a credit to Coach Ellis and what she's established prior to the season and then into the season as well. She does a lot of conditioning, obviously with the short numbers, getting girls in shape and getting them ready for the season, and I think that's a credit to her. As for the teams they've played this season, I mentioned they competed with Colorado, who's a top-notch ACHA program. They're going to have their work cut out for them in a couple of weeks when they go to Colorado. 3 out of the 4 opponents they play are ranked in the top 15, the ACHA. Last week, ASU just picked up votes to be in the top 15 in the ACHA, so it's going to be a difficult road test for them, but I believe Coach Ellis and the coaching staff will definitely have them ready. And as for this season, just a lot of great players on their roster. Their 4 captains this season have been fantastic. Amber Galls has a point streak going right now. Tallied a point in every game. She's been fantastic. Casey McGinley, the vocal leader, both on and off the ice. She scored a game-winning goal on Friday night, had an assist on Gal's game winner on Saturday. So both of them have been fantastic, along with Taylor England and Danica Borges as well. So they've been great.
So when you talk about that team, the first thing we got to talk about is, if you don't know anything about ASU women's hockey, they practice in the morning, don't they? And when I say morning, not the 9:30 cushy time that the NCAA team gets out there, but they're out there early, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
What time do you get to the rink?
I get to the rink at they start exactly at 7, right on the dot. So that's them. I get there maybe about 15 minutes after, give myself an extra 10 minutes of sleep. But, they're out there early, but it's what works for their schedule, and they don't mind it. And if you're out at the rink and seeing them practice early in the morning, that energy is there for their team. They're always up and ready to go.
So they practice early in the morning, and I've joked with the girls about this, but when do they play their games? You've seen a few games that started about 10:30, right?
Yeah, we coined the term, of course, in the Pac-12 with Arizona State football, there's Pac-12 after dark. Nicholas Batters actually covers the team with the Walter Cronkite Sports Network, so him and I should say Nick, he's really the first one to come up with it, but he coined the term ACHA after dark, and so Pac-12 after dark, those games are cute and all, but ACHA after dark, the 10 o'clock, 10:30 starts, definitely something to watch.
So I joke with Jordan, and I said, what's it like to start a game on one day and end it in the next? And she said, it's kind of like when you leave the arena and you're telling your friends, okay, we'll see you tomorrow. I mean, like in a few hours.
Oh, yeah. Last week after, it's because, they do their interviews after the game, and I give them all the credit in the world, because after playing 60 minutes of a hockey game, I don't know if I'd want to go out and be talking to the media after that, but it's a credit to just the ASU women's team, and them talking to us, I should say. And, I'm very grateful and thankful that they do that. But last week, writing my game story, I didn't get done until about 3:30 in the morning, and then back out at the rink the next day at about 1:32. So
I saw you out there on Saturday afternoon, and you were right at it.
Oh yeah,
I gotta give you credit, coming right back to it.
It's a fun transition. I don't have too much to complain about. The women's team out on the ice, they have, I'm sure their legs are feeling it a lot more than my sleepiness was up on top of the press box at Oceanside. So definitely
Which in itself is kind of an experience, isn't it, sitting in the press box at Oceanside?
Oh yeah, you're up there, right? You hear everything down on the bench, being that the players are right below you. So it's a great press box. It has some character to it, and I love sitting up there and covering games. It's fun.
So I got to ask you a couple of questions. First of all, does the tape recorder run when you're in the press box so you can get everything that comes off the bench?
I don't record anything up in the press box. It's actually been interesting the last couple of weeks with the late start times. After the game, the Zamboni is coming out on the ice. So as we're trying to get post-game audio and post-game interviews, you have the Zamboni. They're scraping out the ice, they're blasting music, getting ready to close down the arena. And so you really have to get that microphone and your phone really up, players right in there, because otherwise you're not going to have any audio, you're not going to be able to hear anything. So it's interesting for sure.
So that's the fun part. Now we're going to dig up a little dirt on the players. First of all, it's going to be easy. Who's the best interview?
I don't like to specify on that. A lot of
we were pushing for this one.
No,
I
won't point anybody out.
How about this one? Who's the worst interview?
That I will not answer that one as well. I will say this though: all the players have been so fantastic with, just being cooperative with the media and working along with us, and they've been a blast to speak to. They've been so nice and just so welcoming of us, and it's really been.
Well, I know they appreciate having you there. I know they appreciate the media attention. I was there last year, and it was like, I wish I had more time, but unfortunately I've got such a big area to cover. It's like I can't be everywhere. I wish there was 15 of me. It would help. But so I appreciate your work because I'm able to follow along with what you're doing with them, and that's a big help. Tell me a little bit about Coach Ellis and the interactions you've been able to have with her so far. It's like she's got a full-time job. She's got a full-time job coaching the team. She basically runs the whole operation. She's got the scheduling. I talked to her one day earlier in the year, and she said, "You would not believe my living room. It's covered in jerseys and socks and everything else that goes along with it." So talk a little bit about dealing with Coach Ellis and what it's been like for you.
Well, Coach Ellis, I should say, is she's awesome to interact with and be at the rink with every day. And you mentioned she's really done so much for this program, getting it started first of all, and then you mentioned her all of the jerseys and all the equipment that she had. But at the beginning of the season, I was trying to get in contact with the team when I first got assigned to the beat. And usually, you have an SID or media relations person. Well, Coach Ellis was the media relations. She does everything. She got a little help now. Taylor Clark's actually stepped in and helped her out with some of the media stuff. But she's been so great to work with. After practice every day, she's speaking with the team, interacting with them, and then she's packing all of her equipment up, and then she has to talk to us too, and she always makes time to talk to us after practice, and she's just been so awesome and so cooperative, and I can't thank her enough for that.
I know in the last 2 years that I've worked with her, I don't think I've never seen her not smile. Have you ever caught her not smiling?
Oh no.
Even after a loss, she can find something positive.
Yeah, definitely. She is, like I said, one of the nicest coaches that you'll be around, interact with. And she also has great quotes as well after games. She really has a good perspective on what her team's like and, just what her team's like and how they interact and how they play.
Well, let's break this up. We'll come back for one more segment. We'll talk a little bit about a story you wrote that I really want to give you a lot of credit for. It's a great story, well written and very well done with a touching moment with this team. So we'll be right back with one more segment with Andrew Bell. All right, we're back with the final segment today on our Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest, totally devoted to ASU women's hockey, and we're back with Andrew Bell for another segment. Andrew, first of all, thank you for sticking in there. I know it's a trip to come down here and to sit in front of the hot lights for 3 segments is always appreciated on my part of it. But I wanted to touch a little bit on a story that you wrote, and did it come out today, or when did the story come out?
So the story actually went up last night. I waited until this morning because it came out late last night.
Right.
Waited until this morning to kind of get it out there, put it on social media, and kind of tweet it out and get the word out. But it came up late last night and early this morning.
So for those that don't know what we're talking about, you tell us a little bit about the story. First of all, the person that the story is about and his relationship to the hockey team and really the sadness part of it that we lost him at such a young age and the team is really playing hockey for Taylor, right? So go ahead and fill us in on what the story is about and what got you into it.
Yeah, so Taylor Ullery, who was an off-ice coach for the women's team, and he assisted in strength and conditioning and helped out with a lot of the players just last season. He passed away tragically earlier this year at the age of 29 years old. And I know for a lot of the players, everyone who's on last year's team, just speaking with them, I actually, since I didn't cover the team last year, I didn't get the pleasure of meeting Taylor. But I saw on social media that a lot of the players, tweeted out some things, put some things up on social media, and the women's hockey page, the Twitter page, also put something up as well. So with that in mind, I want to get an idea of who Taylor was, what he meant to the program, because I could see obviously that he meant a lot to the players and their team last year growing as a first-year program. So with that, I waited a little bit because this happened. His passing happened in August.
Right.
So I waited a little bit just to give the team some time, and I eventually reached out to Coach Ellis once because I believe during his passing, I didn't want to report on it right away because it was actually my first week covering the team when he passed away. So waited a little bit. I eventually talked to Coach Ellis about it, and she was on board with the story and said that would be okay. I also have to thank Casey McGinley, Danica Borges, and Jordan Nash-BOULDEN, who had one just recently, for all of their help and contributions to the story that I wrote. They were so helpful and so descriptive, and just had so many great things to say about Taylor and his memory and what he did for the program in their first season. They're just amazing with everything that they did. After I spoke to Coach Ellis, my next step was to get in touch with Taylor's family, who I got the pleasure of meeting in person during the Colorado series, and just two very nice people who I feel for and my thoughts are with. So I got a chance to speak with them about the story, just see if I could get their permission, and they granted me that permission. And then I got to go out and do the story, and I talked to Casey, Danica, and Jordan. As I said, they're so helpful and so amazing with everything. If you take a look at the article, Casey and Danica are both pictured with Taylor in the story, and they were just amazing. And for them to open up to me about something that's difficult like that, I just want to thank them and tell them thank you so much for all of that. And then this season, with the start they've had, it's been pretty awesome. And then I know Casey said in the article this year we're playing for them. So, like I said, I just can't thank them and everyone who helped me develop this story.
I know last year being around the program, Taylor was a fixture not only with the team but at Oceanside. You would see him everywhere, right? Games, practices, he was a fixture. Okay, so when I first heard about it, the first thing for me was shock. I witnessed the Craig Cunningham incident last year in Tucson, and I've seen that, and I've seen hundreds of different things, but this one was a little different. Only, I think, because of the fact that Taylor was so close to the program, and there's so few people in the program. So I'm guessing as a writer, it was a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, it was difficult walking into it just simply because I know ice time hockey has been around everywhere in the Valley in Arizona and Vegas, but walking into it kind of cold this season and then having to find out about that news, which I wanted to talk to Coach Ellis just to see if they might be willing to just talk about what he meant to the program, but once I got a chance to speak to a couple of players and what he meant to the program, he just meant so much. And hockey is a tight-knit community, it's a tight-knit sport. For sure. You saw Coach Rebellin, obviously, what happened in Vegas and the tragedies there. Really, when something like that happens in the hockey community, everyone's so quick to react and get together, and they're really just there for each other. So for the team to go through this tragedy at the beginning of the season, I just know it had to be difficult, and I'm just fortunate that they were able to open up to me, and really all the credit goes to them. So it's their story. I was just able to tell it.
Well, you did a great job on telling it. I tell people, if you haven't been there to see it, get out to the State Press and get on the website and see it, because it's a very well done story about a very deserving person that was a big part of it. When I look back at it myself and I see it, and I can see the things that are happening to the team this year, when Casey scored an overtime winning goal. I mean, that when I see pucks going in, when I see the one on Saturday that goes in with 16 ticks left, or what was left on the clock, and I see a big save from Jordan, it looks like there might be a little bit of higher power going on in there, and who knows? I mean, I think the sky's the limit for this team, not only this year but in the future. I mean, I'm excited to see what they bring on next year for players. I know the talent level is going to get greater, but also just have the numbers. I mean, you probably heard me talking with Jordan about it. I asked Coach Ellis, I said, how do you do a specialty team when you're just running two lines out one after another? How do you get your best players on a power play? How do you get your best penalty killers out there if they just came off the ice? So it's a difficult situation, and I think we're all going to reap the benefits of bigger numbers and better results.
Definitely, and that's one thing I've talked to Coach Ellis about this season. I think the Colorado series, I want to say, is almost about just 10 players that they had on the ice. It was a tough transition, but a lot of credit goes to Coach Ellis, and also Taylor England, Danica Borges, Alyssa Ayers, who have all stepped up. They only have 3 defensemen right now. So going from the forward 7 into the defensive zone.
Right.
I know I've talked to them a little bit about that, and they said it's been a transition, but they've done a great job this season. And also a big credit with that goes with Molly Potter, who's worked alongside them, and also
Right.
Casey, who are and Brooke Kelsall, who are three of the natural defensemen on the team.
Yeah.
But Molly, Brooke, and Casey have really, they've been in there. They've been in the natural defenseman role. But I really say Molly, especially this last weekend, she's a player. Casey, I've given her a hard time about this before, but she says she's a strong stay-at-home defenseman, which is true. But when she wants to, I think you saw this inside. She can definitely jump up into a play, and she's someone to watch, not only on the defensive end, but when she wants to, she can jump into the play, and then she also has a rocket for a slap shot. But Molly has been one of the strongest defensemen as well. If you see her, she hasn't shown up on the point sheet yet, but she's just so solid defensively and has really helped out a lot of the forwards. I know Taylor and Danica are talking about and Alyssa, how Molly's helped them, and she's really helped cover them, and they're kind of a little bit of a learning curve going from forward to defense.
Well, I don't know, but I heard a lot of stories about Casey before I actually saw her play on the ice, and I tabbed her the nickname Real Deal. Because she a couple of times she took shots, I was going like, where did that come from? Because she just blasted it, and it run a lot like you hear in a men's game, which you don't hear in a lot of women's games, the puck ringing off the boards and off the glass that hard. She's got a deadly shot, and when she wants to, she can take over a game. I think you saw that Friday night when she scored the game-winning overtime goal. I mean, she's got so much talent, but yet she's so reserved, and I think she knows her role on the team. And, they're fortunate to have her, and you're fortunate to be able to watch her.
Definitely. Casey she's amazing. Just talked to her after practice. She's always got a smile on her face, both on the ice and off the ice. Speaking to other players around the team and then with her, they always say Casey, she's the one who's talking on the ice and then off the ice too. But she's awesome, and then she's had a great season as far as, along with the other three captains as well, and really this whole program so far this season they've gotten off to a great start.
I didn't think sitting here right now that we'd be saying the 3-2-1 ASU women's hockey team, but who knows what that number could be at the end of the season. Time will tell, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I think Casey said it best earlier this season. I believe it was after the Grand Canyon series, such a kind of a landmark series for women's hockey here in the Valley with two teams that are 15 miles apart. Casey said after the win against Grand Canyon with Arizona State with this program, that the sky's the limit for them, and this opportunities, I believe exactly what he says, the opportunities are endless with this state and with this program, and that's so true, not only with ASU, but with DCU on the rise, and so many youth hockey players coming up, both on the men's and women's side.
For sure. And we're here on the ground floor, and I appreciate you coming in, and like I said, spending 3 segments with us. I know it's tough under these lights. They get a little warm, but
they're fine. No big deal. Part of Conk, guys.
Andrew, I appreciate your time. Like I said, you're welcome anytime you want to come on.
All right, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back to wrap up another Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. All right, and we're back to wrap up episode number 26, halfway through the year with Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. Had a great show tonight talking ASU women's hockey. Had a chance to visit with a couple of people pretty important to the program, one on the ice, one off the ice, and the strides that program's making under head coach Lindsay Ellis, and actually a 3-2-1 record right now after about a month of the hockey season played. Got a couple of weeks off. They're heading up north to Colorado for 4 games in 3 days, so it's going to be a challenge for them, but I believe the team is coming together, and if they could get a few more numbers on the roster, they'd be in really good shape. I want to thank my guests tonight. We had Jordan NASH-BOULDEN and Andrew Bell from the State Press at Arizona State University. Also want to thank our sponsors. We have our corporate sponsors, Ice Den of Chandler, Ice Den of Scottsdale. We also have Oceanside Ice. We have the University of Arizona Hockey Club, and we have the University of Nevada, Las Vegas Hockey Club, and of course our friends over at OxyPow for stepping up, and of course our friends at Swag Hockey too for jumping in and giving us some apparel and things to wear during our show. So as we move forward, we look forward to another week next week. It's going to be an exciting week of hockey here in the Desert Southwest because we get a chance next weekend to see some action up at the Prescott Valley Event Center, and I know I'll have a chance to visit with Satish Catfishatelli when I get a chance to visit with him next week up there to see NAU in action. So we look forward to that. We're also going to have a chance to get up to Vegas again and see UNLV with some big games coming up. And of course, the Golden Knights are off to a fantastic start. So for episode 26, I want to thank my behind-the-scenes crew of cameraman Robert Schneidmiller and our executive producer Terry Strandy for all of her hard work. And we'll wrap everything up here from Ice Den Chandler. So for episode 26, that's a wrap.